People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I appreciate each and every one of you. Good morning to you lot over here in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on who you are and wherever you are. If you're not in the UK and you're somewhere else on this world, you know, DG Nations International and those things. I appreciate everybody locked in and listening. Please make sure you hit the like button on your way in if you're not going to do anything else. Please check out the pinned message because you lot are always getting on to me and say, oh, deluded the Arsenal content's great and all and stuff, and the watch-alongs are great and stuff and whatnot, but we need some neutral content. It's Atletico versus Chelsea tonight, so I'm gonna go and do that for you lot. So please make sure if you're about in the evening, you're taking in those sort of things, people. Now we're gonna get into Bellerin, you know, the man in the thumbnail, the man who, I'm not gonna lie, people, I was gonna do a live stream late last night, but I just didn't have it in the tank, man. I was tired, you know. I needed to get subbed in that. I felt like Bukayo Saka, like I just need to get a little rest. So I apologize for that. I did come across the Hector Bellerin stuff kind of when it just come out. I'm gonna get into it. I mean, you lot already know my feelings on Bellerin, and because of who Bellerin is, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it does get scapegoated a lot, and because of who Bellerin is, this is a topic that is gonna obviously rile up a lot of people. A lot of people have made their beds and whatnot, and I'm gonna get into it in a second, but please make sure you're hitting the like button. Big up the Twitch gang as well, you know, like up the thing like Jaden said, who's not Twitch but live from Planet X said, big up DG, always turns up unlike Arsenal. That fills me with pride, my guy. Obviously burns me that's, you know, sadly can't be said for my football club, you know. Hopefully we will be able to say this, man. Big up yourself, Lewis. I appreciate you. Just a fan, I see you. I big up Peter as well, because that was the first comment I saw. Peter Mav, you know, using the comments from earlier. I appreciate that. Just a fan that said, deluded. If this is the case of Bellerin leaving to go abroad, hasn't then he been doing us dirty, playing people, and then to get a move, then he goes. He plays a lot better. This has happened before. We're going to get into it. Trust me, we're going to get into it. And if I haven't covered that indirectly with my thoughts, is what it is. I take less, brother. Like, fam, I'm going to get into it. I don't have much to talk about today, so we probably ain't going to be here for that long. But yeah, I don't know who this is, but he sure looks like, not on a funny thing, one handsome fella. He looks a bit familiar. He's saying live watch along business today, so take that one in. Serious picture, serious, back when my hair was cut and everything there. But moving on, Joe said we should have sold Bellerin years ago. You know, please, let's again, please on my channel, don't do the whole racism, homophobic, the slur stuff. I'm not saying Joe, I have seen some comments in that. I mean, we haven't got time for that nonsense, people. You know, we don't need to be derogatory and them sort of things there. We can talk about Bellerin from a fan point of view or just a player point of view without being nasty. But like just a fan has said, make sure you hit that like button. What a topic to talk about. Is perfect. It's the only topic, man. Cam isn't here for none of it. He said, William, Xhaka, El Nene, Bellerin, apologies, substandard conference quality. Sorry, conference lads. Liam B has said, I certainly hope he's ready to leave. Best of luck to the man, though. Sometimes it's just not a match. William, same thing. 100% agree, my guy, and I'll touch on it in a bit. But sometimes you just need to divorce for people to do what they need to do. You know, it's one of them ones there, really and truly. Keep your opinions coming, keep your questions coming, keep them all going, people. Bellerin replacements, there'll be a lot of them. But for me, I would love Lamperty, you know, based on who's maybe the most available. If you're going to go for someone who isn't, you know, if scouts aren't going to do their job, I don't think Max Aarons is as great as people make out, but I do think there's something there in him, and he's got one foot out the door, really, with Norwich, but you have to put top money down, really and truly. You know, bare opinions. Keep them coming, man. Keep them coming. To be fair, Cairo, you know, them comments about Bellerin and Alexis, I think they've been taken out of context with Bellerin, you know, about how he wants to be a winner. But I agree, you know, And I do think personally, with all due respect to Bellerin, because he's a leader in other ways, but purely from a footballing point of view, I think if Bellerin is one of the most vocal in that dressing room, Bellerin is the leader of that group based on the vice captaincy, I think you're in big trouble in that regards, man. You know, man said Niles, bro, I rate Maitland-Niles. You don't know I mess with Maitland-Niles heavy, you know. At the same time, listen, I've said to you lot, you know, I was a fullback. Sunday league quality, yes, but I was a fullback. So again, it antagonizes me that we haven't addressed this area. With all due respect, you know, finding quality regardless is a hard thing. But right back is in an area we should keep talking about, and I'm going to get onto it. But there was 3 men who started this season fighting for that right back spot. Cedric's, had some good and convincing ones. Bellerin will give you 3 good games and then 3 dodgy games. Maitland-Niles, at least for the next couple months, isn't a thing. And I said, if none of these guys can lock it down, like we have a clear first choice, and obviously one of them has to be a sub and things like that, we need to go into the market, because I don't think right back is an area year in, year out, year in, year out, year in, year out. We need to be speaking about. It should be done. Fair enough. The only time we're talking about left back is if Tierney's injured, but he's come in, been there for 2 seconds, and he's done his thing. I think he's a decent player. Obviously, I'm on the Lamperty one. Man are saying get the lad from Ajax. Gone off the boil a bit, but he's doing his thing. I must admit, I'm not really feeling the Jan Valery hype as much as I was a few years ago. I think that one there, you have to leave it, really and truly. That's a bit mad, man. And this is it for me, This is it for me, Right back is still questionable. It's a shame, bro. Big up Mark. Marcus said, big up DG. Nice hoodie. Praises a young Zara thing. But you said, yes, it's time for Bellerin to move on. Shame, because he showed so much promise a few years back. And I know you're not saying that, Mark, but this is sometimes where Arsenal, we need to just divorce. Like, he had potential a few years back. He might leave and go Barca or these PSGs or any of the clubs that allegedly want for him, and he hits it off. He's 25, 26. The penny drops, he goes there, and for the next 4 years or so until he's 30 odd, you see a real player. That might happen for him. I'll be happy for Bellerin if he can do that, and we can bring in someone who can help us with our task. It is what it is in that regard. So I guess with that, we might as well get into my own opinions on this saga, really and truly, people. So if I flip the script really quickly before I read the articles to you lot, we got to go to the tried and trusted Google Doc. You know the thing. Google, if you're out there, it's about time you sponsor the guy. But and I always listen. This was the latest tune I was listening to while I was setting up my notes and stuff. Digga D and AJ Tracy bringing it back. It's a fucking banger. But staying with the actual task, people. The actual task. Let's ignore this bottom bit. I'm going to cover that for a sec. Or you can read it if you want. I don't know if you can read it because I got to zoom in. But let's go to a 200. Now, again, people, for me, fundamentally, this is all in relation to Bellerin. These are Bellerin points. For me, personally, I don't want unhappy players here. I don't care how good you are, Again, I have to give Bellerin the luxury of this is just paper talk. I don't know if he's actually said this or not. Obviously, a lot of that has to be said, people. But at the same time, I don't want unhappy players here. I don't, unless you're Messi or Ronaldo, I don't want to keep, and even them, I don't want to keep them against their will. When I hear, players are unhappy, how are you going to help us move back to being a Champions League club and things if you're not happy? If you're not happy in any other walk of life or in any other job in life, you're not going to do your best sort of thing, are you? You're not going to do much. You're not going to do anything. Yeah, I can't lie. I was listening to that Eddie Guerrero theme tune earlier and Snapchatted. It's a badness still, and I would be on Hakimi, especially because Inter Milan have to sell him. But have we got the price for that? And you're right. All of these, to be fair with you, Block, all of these men are going to, obviously the English players are going to be overpriced, but that's why I'm looking at it. You must know that in a reality, Cedric might not convince, so you might have to move him on or make him second, third choice. Bellerin every year is linked with a move away. Maitland-Niles, allegedly Cedric was brought in because he's there. So surely in the summer, from now to summer, we said we're looking at right backs, because there's a case that 2 of the 3 that I've just named could leave. Any combinations are all 3. So I'd like to hope that there's some scouts on the pipeline. I've been talking about James Justice, I've been talking about James Justin. Sorry, he needs justice because he got injured. But James Justin from his Luton days. Look at him for Leicester, and they're going to make a pretty penny. So they need to be looking. Hopefully, the scouts have done their job. You have 2 options. You either scout, get the low profile, or you pay. Realistically, how many players, actual players that can improve this team in general, not just at Arsenal, in fact? Half the players you want, people, and you're right, he isn't the best, but half the players, in whatever position, nobody wants to sell their best players. Nobody wants to sell good players. Obviously, if people are broke and need to make money, but nobody wants to sell players, And too often than not, Arsenal were not signing players that you get the vibe genuinely. You had to force the issue. We're getting man that got 1 foot out the door, and I don't want to see that really and truly. So fundamentally, I don't want unhappy players. I have to look at, based on reports, I have to look at Arteta a bit sideways, because apparently he convinced Bellerin to stay. You know, Bellerin's a leader. You know, Mustafi was convinced to stay. All you heard was giving him a new contract. You made him captain. You made Europa League. You're putting these guys in these positions where they're not 100% convinced to this thing. And it makes me realize, it makes me think, where is Arteta with the game management? Because, you know, on one hand, Bellerin's his boy, you know, apparently he's been his former teammates, you know, older head to the younger head, roommate or house lodger and all of these sort of things. But this is where I have to worry about the man management people, because, you know, David Luiz was spoken about to the high heavens, and then you hear spoken about as a disruptive influence. Why don't you want to get rid of Luiz or whatever? Is it because you know he's got clout in that dressing room and these experienced players are twanging you? You know, based on Bellerin, he's vice captain. You know, he's a big voice off the field. He talks off when we've lost as well. You know, apparently he's the vice captain and Arteta loves him. Apparently off the field in the last couple of matters that have surrounded this club, like the wage cuts, he's had a big part to play. So again, you could say that's a big part in the dressing room. Mustafi at a time was as well. You know, all three players where, again, he might want to stay, but should he is another thing. And you hear he's disruptive. Why are you still playing him? Bellerin, if he doesn't want to be here, why are you convincing, man? And obviously Mustafi. So I guess I don't really understand where we're at in terms of the game management, because tough decisions need to be made. And for me, when I look at all these alleged leaders of the team or trusted people, it seems like the leaders of our side all seem to need convincing or at times wanted to leave. Now, Xhaka's one's a bit different. We'd all probably want to leave if we got abused and whatnot. But these three, at least, people. Now, Mustafi's obviously gone and he's just not levels. That's why the asterisk is there. But, you know, you're what are you saying to them then? Because, again, on one hand, if these lot are your leaders, especially Hector Bellerin or people that you look to stand up to be counted and puff out their chest, if they're the man that are there, you're in problems, you know. If Bellerin is that, you're in problems. And I think, as much as I feel Bellerin can be a scapegoat at times, he sums up this football club. Mediocre for years, little bit of promise, lets you down, you know, inconsistent, you know, doesn't really want it, hot and cold, you know. Bellerin sums that all up. A lot of them players do, but Bellerin's the focus of this. Bellerin sums it up. You know, Bellerin's a better right back than me. Obviously, he's a professional footballer. I don't even believe that to a hand, but I just don't see anything to believe in Bellerin. I was prepared to give him one full season after Arteta, as I've said, and he's still got the luxury because that's what we're in. But I'm seeing inconsistencies. I'm seeing you play well, and fair enough, a man plays well. I've seen you're still doing terrible things, you know. You're reluctant to overlap, and when you overlap, your end product isn't good enough. You've got several bad habits defensively. You're caught flat-footed. You don't track your runners. You're not solid 1v1. You know, you're quite poor in that regards. And, you know, as someone who's 25, 26, who's been in the first team since 18, I find a lot of these things are things I'm talking about in 18-year-olds, you know. Again, I'm not saying Bellerin should be up there for the best right back in the league shout. Such should have been the progress. Instead, you've seen where was Max Aarons, Lamperty, these guys who have played in the Prem? But where was Wan-Bissaka and Trent and all of these guys we throw into that debate? Cancelo, where were well, Cancelo's older than him, but these men were nowhere around when you first burst on the scene, and they've all arguably lapped you. You can say what you want about Wan-Bissaka going forward. He's more consistent and he's better than Bellerin without a doubt. You can say what you want about Trent Alexander's current form. He's better than him. Lamperty and Max Aarons, I think people just bred them and don't talk about their weaknesses. They're clear of Donny, you know. We've got Maitland-Niles, who's got several problems. Maitland-Niles wants to play as a midfielder. So if we look at it, you know, us fans, we're not even saying Bellerin, you're clear of Maitland-Niles. You're clear of Cedric, you know. You've got this, and it's bad, you know. The man can't even take throw-ins, you know. This isn't me trying to attack him. This is me being real. Someone that's a vice captain, someone that's been here, you know. Definitely when you compare the players, you know, Bellerin should be the man that gets it. He should be Mr. Arsenal. Fair enough, he wasn't born in England, but he's as English as they come when you look at that lineup. You know, he's been in North London for a minute now. Nobody should embody what Arsenal Football Club is about more than you. Sadly, you do it for the wrong reasons. And like I said, there's just too many bad habits. You know, I don't think he's progressed. You know, I don't think it's been the same Hector Bellerin I was seeing burst on the scene. The explosiveness, the moving like another winger isn't there. You know, doesn't look convincing on the field. Don't see you lead on the field. Several defensive bad habits. Ultimately inconsistent, unreliable, untrustworthy. And you're a big man. You know, I should be talking about Saka and Smith Rowe about inconsistencies and things. Not a big man like you, Bellerin. You've been called up by your country. You know, you've played for Spain. You know, you've played for Spain. You've been in the thing since 2011. Oh, you moved in 2011. You know, and I haven't seen it, people. I just want to see statistically how much games this man has played. You know, he's 25. He's turning 26 this year, same as me. He's contracted until 2023. We know we. Apologies for the noise, people. Sorry about that. I know we have to deal with the contracts of 2021 and 2022, but if we are to be a proactive football club or want to be a proactive football club, we need to make a decision, you know. And I'm sure they want to keep Bellerin. Bellerin feels like one of them. It's a bit like Joe Willock, where outside you don't really understand what's going on, but it's an internal thing. It seems like internally they rate Bellerin, they won't let him leave. For me, if someone that showed me inconsistencies like Hector Bellerin with 2 years left said, I want to leave, I'm entertaining it. You know, we should have bit off Barcelona's hand for 50 million. We're not getting that. Even this little 25, you know, I'll take a 15, 20 sort of thing with a sell-on clause, 2 years left and keep it moving, because right back should be an area that could be addressed and addressed very quickly. And, you know, Bellerin might leave and hit it off and go somewhere else. And, you know, he's 25, turning 26, you know. You've been at Arsenal for a while. I understand it if, you know, technically you don't know Spanish football. You've played youth in Barca. You've been, you know, you're still a Spaniard as much as North London's your adopted home. I'm sure you grew up wanting to play in La Liga. So if that opportunity comes, go. Obviously, he's big on his fashion. You know, I'm sure Italy's a well sort of destination there, sort of thing. And also, you can't defend. Italy is what I call the university of defending. That would attract me to go there and actually be good. Obviously, you could, regardless of Bellerin, if you get an opportunity to join these PSGs, these Juventuses and things, regardless of what I think about your ability and the fact that you're punching, I can't blame you, because they're going to win stuff. You're 26, you've won a couple FA Cups, so you ain't won no league title. They're going to get you stuff, especially if PSG want you with Pochettino and stuff like that. You know, so new experiences, you know, Arsenal's all he's known. He's 25, 26. And again, he has a bit of a toxic relationship with fans. I get it. He might go somewhere and become the Hector Bellerin we thought, but sometimes footballers need that. Or he might leave, do his thing somewhere else. We might bring in another right back and never talk about right back again. That's what I want. I like Hector Bellerin. I'm not as anti him. It's just, I don't know what I'm getting. You're 25. And when you've got one man in the team like this, it's cool. But when you've got historically Maitland, Joe, you know, Ceballos on loan, Xhaka, Pepe even, Lacazette and Aubameyang, there's bare players, better than Bellerin clearly, some, but there's bare players. We don't know what we're getting game in, game out. And when you've got one or two, you can, it is what it is, but we got bare players like that. He's played 22 times, and I think he's been given too much opportunities, really and truly. You know, I think you've been given way too many opportunities. You know, I think Maitland-Niles could have done more with some of those opportunities at right back. Personally, it's a bit like William playing on the wing. Arteta's playing favourite, so you're loving it. This is what I'm saying, people. He's played whatever way you want to shape it. He's had some good moments. You know, he scored against Chelsea. I remember a big game against Liverpool. He played a couple of big games, in games. You know, he hasn't been poor, but simply put, Hector Bellerin, Mr. Hector Bellerin, has played 231 times for this football club. Shout out to him for the 29 assists and the 9 goals, but that's not of any relevance. With the exception of, it wasn't the best of loans at Watford, but he's played 231 times for this club, and we're still talking about, I just said it, I'll give you one season under Arteta. I should know what I'm getting. With you, and I don't. So with all due respect, keep it moving. And I don't think you should be looking to make Bellerin one of your highest earners and give him a lucrative contract. If not just because if I'm Bellerin, that's what I'm looking at. If I'm Bellerin with 2 years left, I'm going to be 27, 28. I'm asking for a 4 or 5 year deal, and I'm looking to bring myself bring parity closer to the Aubameyangs and these people earning that sort of stuff. I'll say, listen, I'm vice captain. You want me to stay? I've won how much Leaper Cups? The manager messes with me. Give me the peas. And I think Bellerin is justified to do that, just because that's what I'll be doing. But if I was Arsenal, it doesn't make sense. You know, you can do better than Bellerin. With all due respect, it's not that I don't like Bellerin. Like I said, if Bellerin's your leader, and problems, people, simply put. I don't want unhappy players. I don't want to question your commitment. You know, if you don't want to, whoever doesn't want to be at this football club, you know, don't let the door hit you on the way out is the nicest thing I can say. For the last couple of years, every year, and again, this is why I'm saying this might all be worse, but for the last couple of years, you keep hearing Bellerin wants to go, and it just appears like, at least for the last 3-4 years, you know, that you've helped him to stay. And if man don't want to be here, keep it moving. Simply put, there's too much talk of right back. This is a role we should not think about, bro, for me, you know. at the end of the road, there's no shame. You know, you leave with your head held high. You've won. You've captained the club. You've grown up here. You've come as a boy. You've left as a man. You know, you've won a couple of FA Cups. You've played 200 odd times for the club. Your move to Arsenal has made you closer to being a professional footballer. There's no shame in ending this chapter. It just feels like at Arsenal, there's many love stories we don't like to let end. You know, you might need to leave to improve. And simply put, you know, Bellerin, as calamity as you are, you can't look around and tell me you believe in all these teammates. You know, even though you're someone I wouldn't believe in, you know, but you can't really get him. If we look at the articles reporting such people, in fact, let's go to the first one. Big up my guy James, who reported this one late last night. Arsenal transfer news: Hector Bellerin ready to consider exit, with PSG set to revive their interest. Now, for me, I think you bring in a right back regardless, and you keep Bellerin for the squad if he cannot be sold, purely because he's got 2 years left. And if something happens with Cedric and Maitland-Niles, what I mean by that is I don't want a cut price offer from PSG. Now, PSG, I would offer about 30 million. I think I'm not even trying to pay that for Bellerin. You better put that at 15. But if I'm Arsenal, he's got 2 years left. You've got he's just a poor footballer. But you should be looking to get a respectable sum, or if not, keep him for another year. Bring in another right back, keep him for another year, and then let him go. You can afford to let him go for a cut price a year from now. Try and get decent money. I understand a lot of people want him out. I do, but I want to see 20 million euros minimum. And like I said, if I'm PSG, I'd look at Arsenal like you're smoking crack if you want that, really, because what has he done? You know, he's lost his pace. He's not really like another winger. When you look at the modern day fullbacks, he's not an assist king. He's not switched on defensively. It just seems like any winger he plays against that's got a reputation in the Premier League, they savage him. You know, he doesn't, you know, he limits how people play. I think his nervousness spreads to the rest of the team. You speak about Bellerin's a great person off the field, you know, shout out to I actually admire how Bellerin's not afraid to be himself, despite what people say and the derogatory terms. He's got great business interests. He's very vocal. He talks on causes. Off the field, I'm not going to lie, Bellerin makes me proud to support Arsenal Football Club based on how he opens his mouth and sheds lights on scenarios. I love your YouTube channel and all the stuff you do with I think in many ways, Bellerin is ahead of his time, and he's good in that regard. Fundamentally, all that matters is the football field, and I don't see it. You know, I'm scratching my head for best Bellerin performances, and I guess many people like myself that have retained that little bit of Bellerin support has been because you're thinking, yo, we can get back to it. Remember that Bellerin that used to wear the vapors before all of this sort of stuff, even before the tattoos. The Bellerin that was just wearing vapors, had a baby face, just running that man. Now, for me, Bellerin's he's just regressing. He's stagnant. You're not consistent. That's it. And that's no attack to Bellerin. That can be said for half of this team. You know, listen, I ain't got no personal beef with Bellerin. I don't think he's a bad footballer. I don't think he's necessarily a wavy one. So you get me? Them things there. As you lot can see here, PSG are ready to revive their interest in Hector Bellerin this summer, with the fullback eager to test himself away from Arsenal. Hey, man, everyone's in agreement. I'm eager for Arsenal to test themselves away from you. I don't think you'd be the first name out of the club if I was allowed to get rid of people, but you'd be up there, top 4 without a doubt. The Parisians are not alone in their admiration for Bellerin, who has also turned heads in Barcelona. I mean, Lionel Messi ain't going to get anywhere with Bellerin there, but you never know. Now, for me, again, you know, I can understand the attraction to Paris. I can understand, for obvious reasons, the attraction to Barca. But Barca's financial landscape isn't the best. Are they going to move for them? You know, maybe Arsenal and Bellerin, Arsenal and Barca can help each other. We've been linked with Firpo. They've been linked with Bellerin. You know, could it be a swap deal? You've been linked with Juventus. I don't think they should be going for you. All the clubs, you know, you'd have my blessing to go to these clubs, because ironically, they're all doing better than Arsenal, but I don't know how to do that. Apparently, though, for their part, Arsenal have not indicated to the player what their plans are for him as he approaches the final 2 years. And this is it. We should know. And the reality is to sell Bellerin. If you're keeping Bellerin, it's because, you know, how he is with Arteta and all these other things. From a purely footballing reason, there's not a reason to keep Hector Bellerin. Let me not lie. There's been, like I said earlier, there's been stages this season where he's played well, but Bellerin's always done that. You've always been good in periods, and there's too many players like that in our team. We don't need men that are good in periods. We need men that are close to that. There's 38 Premier League games. We need people that are at least good for 30. You know, obviously the other 8, you have bad games. It's not your day. It's not this, the other. No, everybody's human. But again, I don't know what. And look at it. Arsenal going to the Europa League final. Basically, for us, it's a Europa League final on Thursday. We've got Leicester. We've got an informed West Ham. We got Spurs. We got Burnley away. Whole heap of tough games for us. You know, I don't know what I'm going to get with Bellerin. You might turn up and be the Bellerin that was there against Chelsea. You might be the Bellerin that's switching off against Spurs. I don't know what I'm getting, and there's too many men like that. So if Barca won him, if PSG won him, let's do this thing, people. PSG attempted to sign the Spaniard before the start of this season and saw an offer up to 35 million rejected by Arsenal, who were holding out for a figure closer to 50 now. 35 million, I'm taking that. Put another 5 on that, and I guess Arsenal would deal. I think you're moving mad not accepting 35 for Bellerin, but if you could get 40, it is what it is. As you can see here, he turns 26 in March, and we don't know what he's getting, people. And this is it. Apparently, people, he's indicated that he was keen to move on rather than spend what could be the remaining years of his prime at a club that are undergoing a lengthy rebuild under Arteta. You would help us leaving because you're not good enough, and this money would help us. And I get it. Why would you're 26? If you can join the PSGs and things like that and not waste your years, I get it. So this is a move I'm all for. But you're Arteta's guy, and he's the one to keep you. Apparently, the Spaniards' intervention last summer convinced Bellerin to remain at the Emirates for this season, but Arsenal have run into the same difficulties, as you know. For his part, Bellerin's form has improved somewhat over the course of this season, despite a disappointing display on Sunday. He has been called up to Spain in November. I think that was due to injury, so shout out to him. He hasn't been consistently bad this season. It's just if the season ends tomorrow, we've got no closer to knowing if Bellerin's turning the corner, and I'm tired of this sort of thing, people. As you lot can see here, Arsenal star Hector Bellerin makes brutal transfer decision. And like I said, I understand it because I think he's in his comfort zone. I think he's been in London for a while. He's enjoyed it. Arsenal's been cozy as it is. There's never been real competition for his right back spot apart from Debussy, and he got injured. When there has been with Maitland-Niles and maybe Cedric, people like Arteta and whatnot are playing favourites. So it's a bit of a troubled one. But apparently Arsenal are bracing themselves for a transfer battle, with Hector Bellerin keen on reviving his interest in leaving the club at the end of the season. There's also the possibility that we could be in contract talks, and this is just nonsense. But as you lot can see, it's echoed what's already been said. PSG and Barca are two of the club's interest, along with 2 Italian clubs. And previously, you've seen Juventus and Inter Milan linked with him. Obviously, Gazidez with the AC Milan thing now. You could obviously say maybe the AC Milan's one, but it is what it is. He's got 2 years left. PSG tried to sign him. If I'm PSG, I'm saying you wanted 30, you rejected 35, 40. You're not getting that this time. We got the COVID stuff. So for me, the numbers are there, people. 234 appearances. Don't know what you get with Bellerin. He's got 2 years left. PSG tried to buy him. So why not sign him, people? What the hell's happened there? Apologies. Shout out PSG. I don't even know how I did that. That's a mad thing. I didn't know you could copy and paste and open up new tabs. As you lot can see here, they brought in Florenzi on loan. I don't know if they're sold on him. One thing I'll give Bellerin, I don't think I've had to question Bellerin's professionalism. It's just your ability, man. Like, I don't buy all the whole he's a vegan. That's why his football is going down. He focuses on fashion. That's why his football's going down. If Lionel Messi came out tomorrow and tells you he eats grass every day, what are you going to say about the vegan thing there? Or Gnabry, who's on that allegedly, or his fashion's irrelevant. There's bare footballers. Peter Cech plays the drums at any given opportunity. Difference is them and they are good footballers. So none of this makes anything. If Bellerin was playing well, people would praise his diet. I just think Bellerin's regressed. I think the injuries have taken a task on it. I don't think there's a defense. We've got a defensive coach at Arsenal that's going to inspire him to improve defensively, or the penny's going to drop, so we can't hide those deficiencies. He harms us going forward. And I think Bellerin sums up how lackluster our right-hand side historically has been at this football club compared to the left-hand side. I think Bellerin's been too comfortable, and at 26 you can leave with your head held high. Arsenal need that money. Right back isn't an area we should think that we can't better at. So both of these what are these things called again, people? Both of these articles from CBS and obviously from the Daily Express have both correlated that, and it's taking me over to this, people. Now, obviously, you lot that were here on my last one, for some reason, Gabriel's name doesn't come up, people. No matter what I type with Gabriel, I've typed in his whole name and all of these sort of things, people. I've typed it in. So Gabriel doesn't come into the team. But for me, this guy, I don't know who this Dunny is right now. He doesn't play for Arsenal. But because Gabriel won't come, I just want him to won't go in there. I just want him to use it to paint a picture, people. So that's Gabriel. It says Marquez, but that's Gabriel. Yeah, stay with me now. Now for me, I look at this back five. Since this man, can you not even see properly, people? Sorry, people. Let me zoom in a bit. Apologies, yeah. Let's go again. Now, yeah. this is just Gabriel for make believe because he's not coming up in it. So I just want to paint the picture. Now, for me, if you pretend everybody there got removed, people, the moment this man here, Leno, walked into the club, when has he had been part of a back five, including himself, but had a back four in front of him that has been certified? He's never had it. You know, I've got my own question marks over Leno, but I think if you have a competent midfield that can defend properly and attack properly and stuff, and you've got a competent defense, I don't think there's a problem with Leno. He hasn't had that. Now, when I look at what my team allegedly is trying to be in the future, now we might bring in another centre half. So really and truly, you know, both these this centre half at least, this centre half in Saliba should remain vacant. But if we take it at face value level, you brought Leno in, who is young for a goalkeeper. Tierney's 22, 23. Gabriel's early 20s. Saliba's a teenager. You know, this is telling me that you're building a back 4-5, including Leno, for the future. Right back, I don't know. Bellerin at 26, you should be able to be part of that, but you're not. So can you go and get me, you know, anyone really? But, you know, for me, just off the top of my head and to make things easier, boom, you know, and he's got a lot of things he can improve defensively, but I'd rather work with Lamptey than that, you know. So can you go and get me them sort of things there, people? Now, again, and that ties into our whole team. When we look at it, you know, we need to see, it's one thing, our priorities right now has to be our team for a year to 12 months, 18 months. But we need to look at how our team is going to look in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. And when you've got Aubameyang, David Luiz on paper, Willian, again, this is not giving me any confidence. So again, you know, in terms of the young players and things like that, you know, we need to have they all these players, obviously Gabriel, they all carry resale value. You can make a profit on Leno, more so Tierney, Saliba, Lamptey, and Marquez. Obviously, that would tie into, you know, in an ideal world, you know, you'd have, again, the formation isn't the best, but hopefully my man comes. This is just options. There can obviously be other exceptions to the rule, but I'm talking about having a young squad that can be moved forward, people, sort of thing. You know, midfield, there's still question marks, really and truly. You know, I could say Partey, he's 27, but, you know, you've got a Guendouzi, he's not the oldest of men. And then in terms of just youth on your side, you know, let's just go with what you've got. Martin, no, sorry. You have a Pepe, who I don't really care if you play on the left or the right. You should be able to play on both, you know. You got Saka there. Come on, man. This website is dead, fam. How you not got Saka? I'm gonna leave that one there blank, people, because, you know, let me leave these ones blank with these no names. So obviously, you know, that would be Gabriel. You know, that would be Saliba. You know, that'd be Gabriel. You know, that would be Saka. Apologies, not Saliba. And you know, up front for me, you know, if you're not gonna bring in other man, it's gonna be Martinelli, innit? I would like Laturo Martinez, of course, but you get it. Now, obviously, these are exceptions to the rule. Obviously, you've got Partey, who is, you know, 27, and he could help us. But again, I'm looking at what is this squad going to be like in the next 3 years. And you'd imagine, you know, if you can get this right, get this done early with this back five, with a Gabriel, with a Saliba, with a Lamptey, with a Tierney, Leno behind them, you can train that up for the next few years so that, you know, they might not look it tomorrow because they are youthful and naive, like Gabriel and Saliba. I back them to put in performances. But this is why I need Marie to stay and be used, or bring in another man, because they will show their inexperience. But can you coach them? Because these can be building blocks for a number of years, you know, a number of years. You know, you got Tierney, he gets it. Lamptey does this thing. Saliba and Gabriel, Leno behind them. German efficiency. That could be a solid unit. Midfield, obviously, you've got the Smith Rose. You've got, hopefully, we can bring in Aura and all of these guys. You've got Partey, who's 27, 28. You've got Guendouzi, who's also young and can be a leader amongst them. For me, you probably have to bring in another striker regardless, but you've got Martinelli, can play through the middle. You've got Bukayo Saka on the right or left, and you've got Pepe, who'd be 25. Obviously, some of these men here might be squad players. There's other exceptions, but we need to look at what our squad is going to look like. And, you know, and again, this is why we need to be proactive, because we're still talking about Patrick Vieira in the same breath as Partey. You know, Partey will never be in the same breath as Vieira. No disrespect to Partey. But my point is, we're praising signing Partey through nothing of Partey's fault, but we've known we've needed that area since Vieira kept it moving, and we haven't. So I don't know if I have faith. I don't think Bellerin, you know, Bellerin's not a person to lose sleep over. He might go to these clubs, turn in performances, and we say, yo, what is this? In the same way Joe and Maitland and these guys might, or Guendouzi might. But sometimes people need to leave. And I think when you talk about Arsenal appearing too comfortable, the bubble being too comfortable and stuff, few people typify the mediocrity, the stagnantness, you know, the complacency that Arsenal has been, like Hector Bellerin. You know, it's not all his fault, but I think he simplifies that, people. So for me, Bellerin, you know, I don't think you can leave sooner. I'm definitely not going to lose sleep or any sleep over Hector Bellerin departing this club, people. So yeah, it is what it is. That was a lengthy one. Big up the 307 of you in here. I hope you're all hitting the like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Sorry for not showing you lot any love there. We're only at 118 likes, people, but there's 300 odd of you in here. Can we get that to 200 at least? You lot are violating heavily. What are you lot saying in the comments, people? Sorry for not sharing you lot no love, but I had to just get that therapy off my chest, you know. So yeah, what have we said? Bro, I said, bro, Bellerin can't header, can't cross, can't support his man. Bro, I'm not even trying to get onto Bellerin. It's just, it's crazy, man. Like, it's just as simple as that, fam. It's like I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just trying to want my team to move forward, man. Simply as that. Um, deluded finally catch you live. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Big up yourself, my guy. Like he said, hit the like button. Hit the like button, people. Please hit the like button. Aye, man. PE was my favorite lesson in school, my guy, man. Please stay in school, do your schooling thing, and then take it from there, my dude, man. But if you're gonna miss something, I'd rather you be in here. You know, let's not do the Bellerin hate thing. Let's not lead a Bellerin hate show. You know, if he wants to leave, he's allowed to do what he wants, but it's a myth. You know, bro, he might go to PSG and turn the best set right back in the world. You know, Pochettino it might be fate. Pochettino might be the guy for him, and which we might sit here and go, yo, Bellerin, how didn't you do that at Arsenal? Which is cool. You know, it's cool to have that conversation. But if Arsenal can sell Bellerin, they can do whatever the hell he wants. He can do whatever the hell he wants there, and we can bring in a right back. So if minimum, we thingy, you know, in minimum, we don't speak about right back. I'm cool. I'm cool if we could find a right back in that would be calm, you know. I'm cool if he can go and be better. Them things there might happen. It's the same with Nelson. It's the same with Maitland-Niles. These players might need to get out of the bubble and go somewhere else, Joe, and develop and play well. It is what it is in that regards. And this is it. Now, what I mean by that is, Captain, you know, many balanced people, we can all admit Bellerin isn't a good footballer, but when I'm seeing in the chat homophobic chants, and he's one of those players like Xhaka, which there's no middle ground. It's like, I don't think Bellerin's terrible. I just don't think he's good enough for what we have. In the same way, I think Xhaka is closer to being a centre mid to what we need than Bellerin is closer to being a right back of what we need. Both still far away, but I just don't think Xhaka is good enough beyond a squad player. You know, to be honest, you know, his confidence is probably on the floor, but at the same time, you get confidence by playing well. You get confidence by improving, and I just don't think he's been certified. And like you said here, man, you know, the levels have dropped off. I don't think he's worth extending his deal. And not that I care about a man's wages, but the finances involved makes it a myth, man. To be fair with you, he was doing all right for Cardiff, but I think Osei Tutu's career at Arsenal is done, personally. I wouldn't mind Matty Cash, but to be honest with you, define age. You know, I don't mind it. I do think you need someone that is 25 minimum. I wouldn't turn up my nose to someone who's 28 or the similar age as Cedric that can fill a stopgap. Just simply put, a good player. If youth is on their side, it would be better because there's resale value and there's obviously longevity. So I wouldn't say we don't necessarily need a young player, but it is what it is. Please stop spamming. You should do a realistic Arsenal career mode to show what you want Arsenal to look like. FIFA, I'm not too sure of that, but love for that anyways, man. And this is it. This is it. If it was just Bellerin in isolation, it's calm, but you got too many like that, man. Moise Keane flopped harder than Yaya Sanogo. Fair play. Don't know where the relevance is that. And this is it. I just need a new right back, Derek. It's simple as that. You know, simple as that. And it's just one of these talking points we move from. Jens Xhaka fully isn't as bad as people make out. He does a lot of bad-ish, you know, and he's not levels at all for Arsenal to move forward. But people move like he's proper trash. He's a limited player with extreme bad habits, and I don't think he should be at this club or be on the squad player, but it is what it is, man. I don't know why they want him, but take him in it. They might take him and show us why they wanted him. But it is what it is, man. It really is what it is in that regards, man. To be honest with you, was he let? I agree with that to a degree. He's been let down, but at some point, you know, when does the buck stop with Bellerin? Bellerin's had what? Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, Arteta. You know, where's the buck stop with Hector Bellerin? You know. on one hand, when do you take your own development into your own hands and not excluding the injuries? I don't think you can just sit there and talk about poor coaching, because what is it when Alexis is going from playing as a winger to scoring 20 league goals as a number 9, having his best goal scoring season? So again, it comes down to the individual at some time, man. Hey man, margarita pizza is decent, man. Don't hate on that. To be honest with you, same, my guy. But this is where Edu's gonna have to earn his chops. Simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. Saka is there. I can't find it. I typed in Saka. It's not coming up for me, broski. So, I'll show you again. I'm typing in Saka. So maybe it's maybe it's the caps. I don't know. Let me look. What am I doing right or wrong? Well, you see what I'm saying? The Saka's not there, my guy. Like, so I don't know where you're on. Like, it's not coming up for man, bro. Look, type in the Bakayo thing. But yeah, she's not there, mate. Is he available at left back? Nah, broski. So yeah, it is what it is. Maybe it's just maybe your thing works and my thing don't. Man said, would you be happy to sell him to a rival team, bro? I can't lie, I would. I don't. I admittedly, I'd like to get him to go abroad, but I'm not. If United and City, especially in Chelsea, if their man had the box, why not? I don't think Bellerin would be a good fit for Liverpool either. So why not, man? Bellerin's not. I don't want to sell to rival, but Bellerin's a player I'm not going to get scared about. And I want Bellerin to prove us wrong. I want to be proven wrong about Bellerin the same way I'd want to with all these players, because it makes Arsenal better. But I think Bellerin will stay purely because Arteta's his guy. Simple as that. Man said, yo, DG, it's Bukayo Saka, Bukayo. So yeah, I've typed it wrong. So yeah, let me see. Hey, Saka's there. You're right. So yeah, that's me with my dyslexic self. Apologies, Marshall. But yeah, like you can see, that would be the lineup for a sec, Saka. Yeah, which one of you can find Gabriel there, man? Somebody find Gabriel there for man. But yeah, again, this doesn't have to necessarily be your starting lineup. And you know what, to be fair with you, let me exclude Lamperty because he's not at the club. But across your 25-man squad, in the next year to 2 years to 3 years, again, Guendouzi might leave, but you'd imagine this is your bulk of your side, whether it's your strongest 11, whether it's your subs and whatnot. They make up some portion. I could even move Guendouzi because really he's not really, I don't know if he's gonna be there. And let's just put Smith Rowe there because he's probably gonna be it. So these are the sort of players that are gonna be making up the framework. So again, I need to see who again. It's gonna be Gabriel and Saliba's there, but whether it's gonna be Marie or a new one, can you bring in a right back, central midfield? Of course. Now it's not the sort of attacking 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 we're used to seeing, but you get the point, people. And when I look at this, I see a squad that I see good tools here. I see, Pepe's only 25, 26. He can be used. I don't need to 1, 2, 3. I don't need to tell you that either. 4. I don't need to tell you that. 5. And we haven't really seen what he's on in an Arsenal shirt. He's made more noise for certain things off the field, not to go over it. And Leno's a bit suspect, and I can't lie. If the whole 11 in general was in the way that I would like it to be in the squad, I might look at goalkeeper with Leno, but I don't think it's an area you have to just force the thing. So this would probably be it. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Can go anywhere, man. It's Eduard or Tony. I'd rather Eduard, my guy. I want him to stay. Fair play, but it's a myth. Man said, petition for DJ on the 21st of June to go Sloane Square and film with the pigeons. If you know, you know. I big up John, though. That joke will go over a lot of people's head. Bellerin's lost a bit of pace, still good. I don't think Bellerin's as poor as people make out, but I think good is a madness right now. Marshall, big up yourself. I'm gonna do the live stream business. Where is your comment? It's actually gone. Who do you think will go through? On form, I have to give it to Simeone's side. They just look like they're moving mad. Suarez is on crud, but you can't rule out anyone. And if I'm Tuchel, you want to go as far in the Champions League as you can, because isn't that really where your job was lost at PSG? Because you didn't win it. And then based on how you played domestically the following season, there was no inkling that you're going to get there. So I'd say that, man. Certain man remember the thing, man. Certain man remember the thing. Bellerin's been your favorite player since 2015. Fair play. I think that fair play. Wouldn't be mine, but fair play. Bro, the midfield needs it. So we've spoken about the midfield, and you're 100% right. 100. I think he would complement Partey. I think he complement Partey, and it would be an option. I just feel Guendouzi should be part of the option in the squad. You should bring in a number 8. I do think if you keep Guendouzi, it's cool. But regardless, I think you need 2 midfielders. I think you need someone that can do Partey's primary job if he's not there. And I just think you need another number 8. And I think Guendouzi can be used and fight with people to start and things like that. Yeah, he said he's going through football maturity. And a lot of what he said, as you can see in the tab, I'll speak about in another vid, is what it is. Very keen to see how Jeremy Frimpong does at Leverkusen. He, left City, done his thing at Celtic, and now look. So keen to see, man. Keen to see. Very, and that's what I, that's what I, that's what I feel. I like Zachariah a lot, but I need to see a bit more. I want to see him. I don't think he's really pushed his game to the next level. He looks like he's saying that he's showing a bit more of his qualities in the final third. I think since he's been exposed this year, I think the manager made some comments about that. I would take him, but I'm still waiting to see significant improvement. With Guendouzi, I don't think Guendouzi's actually improved too much. The main thing with Guendouzi is just needs a platform. Defensively, he's not improved. And if you saw him coming off the bench, he was quite poor defensively in their last game. But that's one for the loan report, people. That is one for the loan report. Please make sure you're hitting that like button and you're checking out the pinned message, people. Even if you're not going to be there, drop a little like on that one there. We're 176 likes, people. Can we force the ball out and get that closer and closer and closer towards 200, people? There's 307 of you locked in, so people are being lazy. Keep the questions them coming as well. Bro, scored his, forgive me if I'm wrong, scored his first hat-trick the other day, right? Would be all for the Isaac hype and would be on that, man. And you're right, Anderson, it is toxic. I can't lie, I think Bellerin is terrible. I'm not going to lie. He's still not as terrible as people make out, but I can't lie. I don't see a Premier League standard footballer in what I see, and I want him to make me look stupid for that statement. Like if I said that when he first burst on the scene, I don't think he looks like a Premier League footballer. I wish there was a like button on Twitch, man. I wish there was a like button on Twitch. To be honest, I'd expect him to improve, but it's down to the individual, as much as all them man they improved, and you're right. At some point, they've done it themselves. It's a bit like Raheem Sterling. Everybody, when a player improves, everyone goes, oh, look at the manager. Look at the manager. Look at the manager. Look at the manager. But when a player's doing bad, it's look at the manager. It's never the player. These players had to retain the information. It's like Saka. Saka's intelligence is on another level. That's why he might very well remain a left back, a left winger and a right winger, but he's able to put in a shift even at right back and left back for us. He was able to do something in the 10 for us, able to do something in the centre midfield. I don't think Bellerin's able to retain that information, or if he is, something's gone wrong. I would be all up for John McGinn, but again, they're going to want a pretty penny. Have we got that pretty penny? I don't know, man. I don't know. What's your favourite side beside Arsenal? Don't have a favourite side beside Arsenal. I watch any football. The Brazil national team, obviously, I support the England team and whatnot. But I wouldn't say I have a favourite team. There's teams that historically we'll all watch the in-team when Barcelona was doing well. I just watch football. I wouldn't say I got a favourite, man. Big up yourself, just a fan. You said, on a separate note, what else do you have planned for your channel this year? Don't mind me asking. Just to keep getting better and better and better. Keep diversifying the content. Who knows, man? You're going to just have to stay close and you might see something happen, man. To be fair with you, them sort of things there can happen to anyone, innit? But, he had that. He's doing the foul throws. It's just not enough. I understand, Spurs, you're doing your thing, but you don't need to spam my guy to Ndombele. I mean, I can't imagine you're actually someone sensible, but fair play to you. There's no need to spam, though. Please deal with that, moderators. And like you said, confidence and discipline as well are key. People always, I do think if Bellerin, maybe if us fans laid off him, maybe if Arsenal wasn't as toxic as it is, maybe if we didn't find ourselves where we were, which Bellerin's played a part in, he might play better. Confidence is a thing. Sometimes he looks like he's got a handbrake, and let's be real, when all the fans them are drawing you out, I very much doubt you're going to be confident to do certain things, man. I'm not too sure if that will be better than Lamperty, but it'd be a decent signing, really and truly. Bro, I don't know. A blind man could see that, it's more of the same from last season, man. Really. Big up Cam for kicking out Donny as well. Atal might be a shout, but he's had some injuries. You're talking about the West Ham guy. Not too sure in the final third if he has what I'm looking for. I would rather sign Basuma, but somebody said, would you rather sign Basuma or Burge? I'd rather go for Basuma personally. I think Sandra Burge is lovely, but I just think Basuma ticks more of a box. Like I see that guy as someone that if Partey isn't about, you can be used instead of Partey. In games where, like against City, for example, we might have to concede possession. You're my guy. Like when we went United, we went with El Nene and Partey and they just fugged it out in the middle. Could do something like that. Something it's along them lines, man. What players would you cherry pick from the teams currently in the relegation zone? Interesting one, my guy. Very interesting one. And for that, I'm actually going to have to very quickly look at all the teams. Or actually, who's actually in the bottom? Because I can imagine what Fulham, Sheffield. Yeah, man. Let me pre the table. Apologies. From West Brom, I'm looking at the squad now. Our guy Maitland now is back if that helps, but shout out to Pereira, but I'm not too sure. I would take Rico Richards, funny enough, the young man. Pereira, just because he's a baller, but like if you're asking me to take them tomorrow, I don't think he'd be a squad player. I don't think it's anything beyond that. They've got that Turkish centre mid who's at Celta Vigo, who I liked and did a video on, but I'd pass. I don't think there's a player I would take from West Brom unless it's them young players, really and truly. So West Brom, none. Sheffield United, I don't think there's going to be any. I'll be real with you. Probably, them young ones there to make a profit. Them Amanfadus, them Bogles, them sort of man there just to make a little profit. Sander Burge, of course, picks himself. That's it, really. I'll take the Hackford youngster just to see what he's about. I don't really fancy Brewster like that. McGoldrick's decent, but he's not going to do anything. McBurney the same. I wouldn't take none of them. Fulham probably got the most. I would have a look at Lookman. Pardon me. Lookman. Bobby Reed's a yard man, so there's bias there. Loftus-Cheek's a decent player. Anya's doing all right. Anguissa's certified. They've got the young Fabio Carvalho. I wouldn't take Mitrovic, but shout out to him. So yeah, man, I'd probably say Fulham's got the most out of all of them that I would consider taking, man. Really and truly. Big up yourself regardless, though. Big up yourselves. Please hit the like button. Lookman went to my secondary school, so you're from the Nam. To be honest, is that a bad thing? You go to PSG, you can learn football under Pochettino. You're gonna win a league title. You can do up the fashion thing. I'd be all up for that. I'd be up for that, man. If I was Bellerin. So nothing bad. Yeah, I said Anguissa. I'd take Anguissa still. To be honest with you, again, the manager's allowed to do what he wants to do. He's allowed to do what he wants to do, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, man, I agree with that. Football, I'm not too sure. I think quite the same to Basuma's level, but I do think Glenn Kamara's quietly gone about stuff since he went over to Scotland. What was he initially at Dundee? He's doing his thing for Steven Gerrard at Rangers. He's been linked with a couple Prem clubs. You'll see the thing. I would love it. I like Pedence, but out of them, the first would be Neto. The second would be Neves. I'd take Pedence for the squad, but I'd be more inclined to take the other two. But again, pretty penny. You're not going to get that. We don't create many chances. It's a bit harsh because I think I would take them both because they both address two areas of the team I'd like. But obviously, Aouar for me because he's the guy in it. He does play better in a back three. Defensively, he's a bit suspect, but sometimes we've got to go for players that might not be perfect and we can work on. I wouldn't mind Hakimi. My immediate thing would be for us to scout someone I actually don't know. Go out and find them. I didn't know fair enough. I didn't know who Sagna was when we signed him. He was a certified individual. Nah, I wouldn't take Semi Ajayi. He's a good player, former Arsenal man, myth, absolute myth. It's not going to help us. I do think people gas it up, but at the same time, it is what it is, man. Big up, Ahmad. You've been on holiday for a minute, man. Bring that sunshine with you, my dude. My favorite player from every Premier League team. You're moving mad, my guy. You're moving mad. I think favorite is a big, very big one, but I'll try. Let me attempt that. I don't think I can for every club, innit? Let's start with the top of the table. Man City, Sterling. You know, there's bare players, but I'm going to try limit it to one. Raheem Sterling. Manchester United, between Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford for me. Leicester, James Justin, because he's a fullback. But just a bait one. You know what? There's James. I can't pick. There's James Justins. There's Telemans. You know, there's young Vontae Daly Campbell on the bench now. There's Maddison. There's Barnes. I'd probably say Vardy. I'd say Vardy, but there's Nuffman in that regards. West Ham, Antonio, because he gave me one of his shirts and his sign. Shout out to Antonio. Chelsea. Ooh, tough one. Between Reece James and Callum Hudson-Odoi, personally, clearly you can see there's a contrast. Liverpool, Mane, definitely Mane. Everton, ooh, Richarlison. Wait, yeah, Richarlison. There's the Corey there now. Ooh, there's a couple other young players. James doing his thing. Ben Godfrey is my guy. I wanted him at Arsenal when he's at Norwich. Everton, I can't really answer because I want to say Richarlison, but same way Ben Godfrey and these sort of guys there. So, make of that one what you will. Villa, easy. Grealish, shout out Martinez. Spurs, Ndombele, Harry Kane, Son. Them and there. I'd say Ndombele first. Arsenal, Bukayo Saka. Without a doubt, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli a close second. In fact, it's a bit mid because Saka's the first, but it's like in the same category. It's like Saka, Martinelli, Tierney, Gabriel, Partey, and historically Aubameyang. But you're only as good as what you're doing on the pitch. Wolves, Pedro Neto. It would have been Semedo, but I've gone off Semedo. Leeds, Calvin Phillips. Palace, Zaha. Southampton, tough one. Don't really have one, I'd probably just say Danny Ings. Burnley, that's a myth, my guy, man. I would say who's that midfielder, man? It could be McNeil, but I'm not thinking of him. That's it, Brownhill, because I don't know. Every time I watch Burnley, I'm always drawn to watching you play. Shout out John McGinn of Aston Villa as well. Brighton, Basuma. Newcastle, I'd say Jamal Lewis. Fulham, probably Lookman or Bobby Reed, them and there. West Brom, Maitland-Niles. If it's not Maitland, there's not really one. Sheffield United, probably Sander Burge by default. I got, shout out McGoldrick, but that's about it, man. So I've attempted your madman question. That was a madman. To be fair with you, I like what I've seen from that Ghana guy. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he's been offside a few times. He scored against United. I think he's a decent. He mashes work still. I wouldn't say favorite, but he mashes work. I did say shout out Smith Rowe, my guy. Wolves, it wouldn't be Neves for me personally. Shout out Rafinha, but for me, it's Calvin Phillips. So yeah, man, that would be me. He can be overrated, but I rate Zaha. No, there's McNeil and there's Brownhill. So I think it's McNeil and Brownhill for me. No, there's gonna be no investment, man. No investment at all, man. No investment. Interesting, bro. Hopefully I'll beat it, man. What have you said? McNeil is a baller from West Ham. I'd take Bowen or Antonio. Bowen's got a great technical ability. I didn't just want to pick Arsenal players, bro. Like, it's dead just picking Arsenal or people that got Arsenal connections, Shout out to Iwobi for that regards, but I wouldn't say he's my favorite in the Everton team, really. Shout out Calvert-Lewin. It would be James historically, but yeah, man, you get the point. Shout out to you, Johnny, as well. I appreciate you for asking me how I feel, Johnny. I appreciate that, man. Of course, I'm going to like Barnes, and I kind of missed the trick on it. Best Premier League team, but only from one club. It could be something. I've done a scouting report on Mangala before. I like him a lot, but again, need to see a bit more definition in relation to what sort of actual midfielder you are. And he's still young, the Belgium lad. Really and truly, man. All respect for that, man. Calm, man. I like Lookman. I really like Lookman. Shout out to you, my guy. Hey, how can I forget Eze? You know, it's difficult on the spot. You're always gonna forget one. So shout out to him as well, Eze as well. You know, Fleck. You know what? Sheffield United. Looking at that squad, that was the toughest one for me. It's I'm all for him losing. You know, the more money he loses, the more he might be tempted to leave leave Arsenal. But you know, it just makes you upset because you can't see significant investment, man. It really is. Well, it is. If you could bring one academy player and no Surge, who would it be? Tough one. So no Gnabry, right? I'd say Benassia because he's doing very well at AC Milan, and I think he would slot in perfectly, ironically, in our midfield with Partey. Yunus Musa, you see what he's doing at Valencia. I think that one there could have been the guy. Josh De Silva, a bit of a different one. Brentford, I think he's better than Joe Willock. I think he would have taken his chances. I'd say them off the top of my head. I'd say Musa, Benassia be the ones. I would have. It's not like Jeffrey Adelaide has set the world alight at other clubs, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more from him, sort of thing, if that makes sense. You know. Oh, give me a sec. Daniel Marlon. I knew I missed one. Marlon. Maybe Vontae Daly Campbell because, you know, he didn't get a pro here. He's on the bench for things at Leicester. It looks like positions are opening up at right back. So it is what it is in that regards, people. Yeah, we do. We have two. I've done an interview with both of them. That's all I'm going to leave you with. So check them out. Shout out to Brooke and shout out to Dan. Neither I feel are ready for immediate first team football, of course. But yeah, shout out to Ryan Laboso as well. Decent little player at right back as well. So yeah, man, it is what it is. But we've been here for an hour, people. I'm gonna get out of here though. I'm not gonna lie to you lot. I'm gonna be back later for the Champions League watch along. There isn't anything else to talk about. I appreciate all of you lot for being here. You know, 300 people locked in as well. How could I forget Kevin De Bruyne for the earlier question? But like I said, I've appreciated having you lot here. Please make sure you hit the like button. Check out the rest of the content. And on that note, people, DG, I'm out.